Hi folks, this is your MWIS Planning Outlook with the weather story as we head into the weekend and beyond. Starting off with a look at the temperatures, and this is the temperature anomaly in relation to the long-term seasonal averages. That's for 5 days into the weekend, and overall it's just on the slightly cooler side of average. Some fairly warm conditions for England and Wales through midweek, but as we just turn the airflows around toward the north, then some cooler conditions will spread further across the country later on this week. That northerly airflow effect moves all the way across Western Europe into next week, with temperatures dipping below the seasonal averages. We are still near or a little bit below average overall, temperatures then generally in single figures across our higher mountains. The rainfall accumulation through to the weekend looks like this, and it's northern and northwestern Scotland that sees the greatest amounts of rain. Areas north from Skye near to the west coast seeing the most frequent or persistent rain or drizzle. Some heavier showers more widespread at times. Smaller amounts overall for England and Wales, but still some rain or some drizzle or some showers in there at times. It's quite a complicated weather story during the days ahead as we see shallow areas of low pressure and quite weak frontal systems coming in from the Atlantic, but enough to produce some rather damp conditions across western mountains in particular, with rain and drizzle and some low cloud shrouding these mountains much of the time. Higher cloud bases further toward the east, drier conditions generally as well on Wednesday. The strongest of the wind around Skye and the northwestern Highlands. Fresh breeze across the tops elsewhere, lighter winds for England and Wales. The chance of some more persistent drizzly rain for Wales for a time in the morning as this small frontal system just drifts in, that tending to fade in the afternoon. A portion of that frontal system in the south may well bring some thundery rain to southern England for a time overnight and into early Thursday. That generally avoiding the mountain areas though. Thursday itself, we're dominated still by low pressure towards the northwest and some fairly persistent rain and drizzle for western mountains in Scotland, and one or two areas of showers breaking out during the day, the odd heavy one inland and toward the east heading into the afternoon. Mostly light winds though across many areas. England and Wales, only small amounts of patchy rain here and there, and cloud at its lowest near to the Irish Sea. Those heavier bursts of rain could well develop more widely into Friday across Scotland and northern England, drifting around slowly, but the risk of some localised downpours, possible thunder in places then by Friday afternoon. Some more persistent rain maybe northern Scotland associated with that front. For Wales and the southern Pennines, maybe fewer showers, but still the odd heavier one may just run through on a westerly breeze. The wind mostly light across inland parts of the Highlands, but watch for that northerly strengthening across more western and northern regions. Low pressure is drifting eastwards into Saturday, a legacy of areas of showers then throughout the daytime, some of those more persistent, the odd heavier one in places. Cloud at its lowest across more northern and western facing coastal mountains. Some brighter spells in there, but I'd always expect an odd shower or two. There's a ridge of high pressure trying to build in from the west. Now it depends on timing in terms of just how soon that gets in. If it arrives sooner, it could well see an improving story for Saturday's forecast, so keep an eye on that just for being a better day. But for now I'd expect showers, I'd expect brisk winds and feeling quite cool across the mountains. Again, there is uncertainty in exactly how the pattern comes out by Sunday. That little ridge of high pressure doesn't really come to anything, as it looks like a general westerly airflow prevails, with something of a frontal system just pushing through from west to east, giving some rain and drizzle and low cloud fairly persistently in western regions, some patches of rain pushing eastwards as well. Again, detail just needs watching at this point in time. It could just be a weekend where we see some rain on and off at least. Maybe not quite as bad as some of the recent weekends, but still not really that settled. It looks like that general westerly airflow pattern prevails onwards into next week, and we're under shallow areas of low pressure once again, with some areas of rain, some showers breaking out into the afternoons, rain most frequent in northern and western Scotland, little bumps of high pressure having a go now and again, but I don't think they ever come to a great deal, as we're always watching for further developing centres of low pressure. There's a few tropical storms around the Caribbean at the moment as well, and those may well curve off into the Atlantic and come back into our part of the world as areas of low pressure as we head into the middle and later part of next week. The potential for some of those lows to track a bit more to the south may well mean the rain is focused over England and Wales, could well lead to Scotland seeing some drier conditions at times, but that detail is quite sketchy. But overall, it's still low pressure in charge and it still looks rather unsettled through that week ahead. The trends further onwards are quite weak, and a lot again will depend on just developments coming around from the Atlantic, but high pressure shows signs of being around Scandinavia into the early part of September. Low pressure is further out to the west, so a bit of a battle going on as to which of the two weather drivers is in control. It may well be we see northern and western regions seeing some fronts skirting through on southwesterly winds, whereas more southern and eastern parts could be being fed by drier conditions coming in from the continent. I should still say that there may well be an improving trend developing through that early part of September. Weak signals from the models, really, it must be said, further onwards. Heading to the middle of the month, low pressure weakly shown toward the north of Iceland, low pressure weakly as well towards the south of Spain and Portugal. High pressure trying to come out of eastern Canada. Somewhere in between, the pressure patterns are average according to the model. It may just be that we see some higher areas of pressure build through. So again, just that scope for some quieter weather and not quite so much dominated by the jet stream as in recent weeks. Keep an eye on all your local details then for 3 days ahead on our website. For today, that is your planning outlook. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.